Welcome. Welcome to the Turkish Airlines series podcast. I'm BJ Cunningham, and today we're going beyond just destinations to talk about design. Design not in the aesthetic sense, but in the emotional, human sense. Because holidays aren't just products, they're personal. They're promises that we make to ourselves. And behind every perfectly timed transfer or beautifully intuitive itinerary is someone thinking about how to make that experience effortless, immersive, and unforgettable. And that's where today's guest comes in. Mohammed Ensar Karabulut is the Holidays Packages Manager at Turkish Airlines Holidays. He's a former station leader at Frankfurt, now designing end-to-end journeys that bring Turkish Airlines' legendary hospitality into the digital travel experience. So let's begin. Mohammed, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Explain who you are. Our listeners want to know.
Hello, BJ. I am Ensar Karabulut. I've been working with Turkish Airlines for more than 50 years. Around 10 years of this journey was spent abroad, serving in country management roles across different markets. And for nearly the past 3 years, I've been working as a leader at Turkish Airlines Holidays.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you and welcome. Okay,
Thank you so much.
Let's go back. Do you remember your earliest travel memory? I mean, the thing that made you curious about the world?
Not the earliest one, but one of my, let's say, first international trips is still fresh in my memory, Vijay. It was the moment when I truly realized how big the world is. It was about 20 years ago. I went to United States for the work and travel program, and it was very popular in that time here in Turkey. And I remember when I stepped out of the airport for the first time, I saw those huge cars, like wide highways, big houses, and endless land. And I remember thinking this is far beyond the world I know. And it wasn't just another city or another country. It was a completely different scale of life. And from that moment on, I understood very clearly that the world is a place meant to be explored through travel.
Oh, that's fantastic. So exploration, travel, this sense of curiosity and adventure. Now, before you entered the aviation world professionally, what did travel mean? I mean, did it mean the same things? Has that understanding changed?
Uh-huh. Well, since I joined Turkish Airlines shortly after the university, aviation has been a central part of my life for a very long time. But before that, during my university years, I made a conscious effort to gain experiences in different countries to challenge myself and better understand the world. For me, the most important way to do was through travel, for being involved in different cultures, observing people, and feeling the routine of everyday life in new places was both exciting and deeply meaningful. And when I look today, many of the decisions I make about travel today, and much of the vision I built are rooted in that sense of curiosity and discovery I developed during those years.
Fantastic. Now, you spent almost 6 years as Turkish Airlines General Manager in Frankfurt. That's an enormous hub. When you first landed there, not just physically, but professionally, what was the biggest shift in perspective that you experienced?
Oh, it's quite interesting because the very first thing I noticed was actually the change in weather, because I moved to Frankfurt from south of France, from very sunny Nice, and the temperature was roughly 15 degrees, and in Frankfurt it was about zero. jokes aside, but the real shift was the scale of everything. Frankfurt is one of the largest offices, within Turkish Airlines ecosystem, and like in terms of the number of employees, flight frequencies, and being responsible for legal and finance issues. Everything was bigger, more complex, and too much responsibilities. And but it wasn't the responsibility limited to working hours, because it's the office. It's 24 hours responsibility. And you carry it with you, and you feel it with you. It was definitely challenging, but at the same time, I would say an incredible educational and transformative experience.
Okay, so Ensar, looking back at the early days of your career, was there a moment that made you think, this is what I want to do? I want to build something meaningful in travel.
Well, I think it wasn't a single moment, PJ, but rather a realization that formed over time. And as you work within operations, you start to see something very clearly. People don't use travel just as a means of transportation, but for some of the most important moments in their lives. So it could be a holiday, a reunion, or a new beginning, or even sometimes a farewell. And at that point you feel that making these journeys more meaningful and easier and more personal is actually about building something truly valuable. And I think that is when the desire to create meaning through travel really became clear for me.
And so you transitioned then from managing these flights as the station leader in Frankfurt to designing entire travel packages for Turkish Airlines Holidays. What was the biggest mental shift you had to make in that process?
The biggest mental shift was moving from operational accuracy to experience design. In operations, the focus is very clear, PJ. Keep aircraft full and make sure everything runs smoothly and safely. But in
Very
the holidays,
German.
yeah,
Very German.
definitely. But in the holiday business, the question quite changed, because it's now you ask, like, how does the traveler feel through the entire journey, from the flight to the hotel, to the activities in between. And of course, making sure a flight departs on time is very important, for sure, of course. But when it comes to holidays, I believe expectations go far beyond that. A holiday represents some of the most special moments in people's lives. The memories they collect, sometimes after waiting maybe an entire year for that experience. And they want something that truly feels special and meaningful. That's why this transition wasn't just a change of role of for me. It was a complete shift in perspective.
What I love is that sort of coming home, because that emotional delivery that you're giving is very Turkish. It's about love. It's about hospitality with the German rigid logic and efficiency and effectiveness. It's almost the perfect setup.
I definitely love this combination, because what I have from my nationality, emotion, like this emotional, let's say, senses and everything. So I think it's plus. But in the meantime, you also have a chance to learn something from others, like from Germany, from France, from other cultures, from other countries. So, and I think at the end, if you ask me, it's a good combination for sure.
Absolutely. So, Ensar, you've managed teams across different cultures and countries. What's the hardest part of leading these multicultural teams, and what's the most rewarding aspect of it?
Well, BJ, one of the hardest parts, I believe, like accepting that not everyone sees the world from the same perspective. So the same sentence, the same decision, or the same feedback can be interpreted very differently across cultures. For example, while working in France and Germany, I learned something very clearly. Even when you work with Turkish colleagues who were born and raised there, people are still shaped by the culture and working habits of the country they live in. And that's why like a single leadership style doesn't work everywhere. But this is also where the most rewarding part begins, I believe. When the different perspectives come together, the outcomes become more creative and more balanced and stronger.
Beautiful. Now, every brand manager, every leader has that one project that really tested their limits. What was the toughest campaign or partnership or decision that you've had to make at Turkish Airlines Holidays so far?
Well, very good question. There were many, but one of the toughest challenges for me at holidays, like at Turkish Airlines Holidays, was building a brand and product from scratch. Because this is not an established department that has been in place for decades, BJ. You have to build everything from zero, like human resources, systems, technology, inventory, know-how, and more. And on one hand, you need to move fast and enter the market quickly. And on the other hand, you're carrying the expectation of a very strong global brands like Turkish Airlines. And also, one of the most difficult parts of that journey was operating quite in, let's say, I would say like uncertainty, making decisions before everything is fully ready and aligning multiple stakeholders around the same goal at the same time. And that experience taught me something like very important. Like this is my personal, let's say, lesson. Sometimes moving forwards with the right decisions and learning along the way is far more valuable than waiting for perfection. And when I look back today, I can clearly see that many of those difficult decisions became the foundation of the brand we are building now.
That's lovely. And actually, that's again a perfect example of Turkish intuition and emotion overriding, if you like, German logic and straightforwardness, albeit both are important. Now, how do you actually balance that data-driven side of building packages with the emotional human side of understanding what travelers actually want?
For me, data and human insights they are not alternatives, and they complement each other. The data tell us what is working and what is not, but the human side help us understand why that is the case. And we usually start by imagining how the traveler will feel and what they will expect, because we also travel. We take holidays too. Thinking about what we would want and expect for ourselves is a very important starting point. Then we go back to the data and test the intuition. If the intuition and data point in the same direction, we know we are on the right path. And one interesting thing we clearly observed is like people don't, regarding the holidays, people don't always choose the cheapest or the fastest option. They choose the experiences where they feel safe, comfortable, and valued.
So, Ensar, in an industry where everyone's talking about dynamic packages and AI-driven travel, how do you keep innovation meaningful? I mean, without losing the human in travel.
BJ, I believe what truly makes technology and AI valuable is how much they simplify things, both for traveler and for us. If a technology confuses the traveler or increases their stress or makes them feel alone, when something goes wrong, then I think we are not moving in the right direction. That's why with every new idea, every new product or feature, we always start by asking one simple question. So does this make the traveler's experience better? For me, a good innovation is often invisible. The traveler doesn't notice what's happening in the background, but they feel more comfortable, more secure, or more special. And in fact, the best technology is the kind that makes you think, I'm glad this exists, without ever drawing attention to itself. And for sure, AI and the dynamic systems are incredibly powerful tools, for sure. They add real value through personalization, smarter recommendations, and by reducing uncertainty throughout the journey. But while all of these systems work in background, the human emotion and experience must always stay at the front. And because if you ask me, travel is not a technology process, it's a real journey where people create memories and experience.
Yeah, real journeys for human beings being human. I think that's a perfect way to explain it. Now, I'm interested, when you're building something completely new, fresh, within an organization as massive and complicated as Turkish Airlines, so you're developing Turkish Airlines Holidays, there's always that tension between speed and perfection. How do you decide when something is actually ready to launch? How do you know?
I think it's one of the most challenging parts, and I believe not only for us, but when you're building something new anywhere, there is always this a natural tension between speed and perfection, and in a structure built from scratch, like our brand Turkish Airlines, or Turkish Airlines Holidays, getting that balance right is critical. And being ready doesn't mean everything is perfect, but because the holiday business is highly dynamic and it constantly needs to evolve in response to new needs and expectations. And if a product gives travelers confidence, and if the experience is not complex, and if it offers a clear and seamless flow from like start to finish, then we consider that we are ready to go to the markets. And that's why we often choose to move forward by learning rather than waiting for perfection, and launching at the right moment, receiving real user feedback and turning the product into living and evolving platform is far more valuable for us.
Ensar, congratulations! That's phenomenal. I didn't understand the scale of this. It's a big operation that you've created.
It is very big operation, and I think the most like the great part is like it all happened within a year. I mean, less than a year, let's say.
That's amazing. Oh, it's superb. Well done.
Thank
now, behind
you.
all of these travel experiences, behind all of this digital infrastructure, there's a team trying to make it feel completely effortless, as you've explained, for the traveler. What's something travelers might not realize about the amount of coordination and creativity that goes into designing these packages, these journeys, these holidays?
Yeah, well, good question, because like every journey that looks seamless and effortless in the digital world is actually supported by a very intense level of coordination behind the scenes. From the traveler's perspective, the booking is completed in just few clicks, and that is exactly our goal. But behind that experience, different teams, different systems, and even different countries all have to work in perfect alignment at the same time. Flights, hotels, transfers, payments, cancellation policies, like customer support processes. So each of these elements needs to function flawlessly, so that the traveler feels no friction from the moment of purchase all the way until they return home. For us, success is when a traveler says, I had a smooth, hassle-free experience, because that means everything worked exactly as it should be behind the scene, And beyond that, sometimes, receiving a simple like thank you or a piece of positive feedbacks motivates us even more. And that's what pushes us to keep improving and keep working toward doing things even better.
So, Ensar, as I understand it, Turkish Airlines Holidays isn't just about selling packages or trips. It's about shaping how people experience travel itself. How do you see this platform changing the way travelers connect with destinations?
BJ, I would say we never positioned our brands as just a platform that sells holidays, just the trips. What we are really doing is creating a connection between the traveler and the destination, even before the journey begins. People start imagining their trip long before they travel, how they will feel, how they will be welcomed, and what kind of memories they will create. And by bringing together the right flights, the right hotels, and the right experiences, so we try to support that imagination in the most meaningful way possible. When travelers feel safe or comfortable and valued, they form a much deeper emotional connection with the place they are visiting. And then that destination stops being just a point on a map and becomes a personal experience. And our goal here is not just for people to see the new places, but to feel them, connect with them, and carry those memories with them long after the journey ends.
I love that. That's a fantastic way of considering the whole enterprise. Now, Turkish Airlines is known for its, in my opinion, it's known for its hospitality. It's legendary. This is deeply rooted in Turkish culture. It's part of Turkey. It's more than a service. It's a reflection of the whole culture. How do you translate that sense of hospitality into a digital travel experience, into a booking platform?
We are Turkish, BJ. We highlighted it, like maybe.
I love it. Seni seviyorum Türkiye. It's superb.
Thank you. For us, Turkish hospitality is not just a service approach, BJ. It's a reflection of a deep-rooted culture, and we aim to deliver this sense of hospitality not only on board the aircraft, but throughout like every stage of the journey, from the planning phase to the very end of the trip. It's important for us that travelers feel at home at every touch point. And in the digital world, you can't really replicate hospitality one-to-one, but you can absolutely translate the feeling behind it. So how we do this, we do it by reducing complexity, removing uncertainty, and making sure the traveler is never left alone at any stage of the journey.
Oh, that's a beautiful way to put it, Ensar. Beautiful. Okay, how does Turkish Airlines Holidays help position Turkey not just as a destination, but as a gateway to the world?
It's a very good question, because Turkey is already one of the world's leading tourism destinations, BJ. You know that, and I believe our upper management has been doing very serious work in this area for quite some time now. They organize events to promote Turkey in many destinations, and it's really giving us a clear mission around how we should contribute to that vision. From Turkish Airlines Holidays perspective, I would say one of our main goals is to actively support and strengthen Turkey's tourism potential. And today, we are already selling Turkey very strongly as a destination, and honestly, we see this growing month by month. But in the meantime, it is important to say that our approach doesn't stop with Turkey. We actually position like every destination we fly to as a holiday destination, giving travelers a very wide and flexible range of options. So in a way, while we continue to highlight Turkey as a major tourism hub, we also present it as a gateway to the world, a natural starting point for global journeys. And for me, being gateway is not just about connectivity, it is about enriching the traveler's journey from the very first step and giving meaning to where that journey begins.
Ensar, how do you design those travel packages that balance and reflect Turkey's cultural richness and the depth of history, while appealing to an international traveler's mindset?
Well, I think that this is very much a balancing act for us. Turkey has an incredibly rich and deep cultural heritage, and we want to preserve and showcase that authenticity. At the same time, we need to clearly understand the expectation of an international traveler. Turkey, luckily, Turkey is already a destination that welcomes millions of travelers from all over the world every year. So it's a country that's very familiar with global travel habits and expectations that give us a strong advantage, but also a responsibility. Our approach is quite simple. We keep the essence of local, but we make the experience universal and easy to understand. And the spirit stays local, while the comforts, flow and service standards meet global expectations. In short, our goal is to present Turkey's cultural richness without losing its soul, while designing experiences that international travelers find comfortable, clear, and enjoyable. When that balance is right, the destination is communicated much more powerfully, and travelers live happy with their experience.
With Turkish Airlines connecting more countries than any other airline, this huge reach, how does Turkish Airlines Holidays enhance? What additionality does it bring to that network with these highly curated experiences?
When you operate across such a wide global network, I think the biggest challenge is making sure that scale never comes at the expense of quality or consistency. Given the importance of Turkey for us, we started by working on Turkey as a destination in great depth. As I told you, we spent a long time really understanding different regions and different traveler expectations and different profiles. Thanks to our strong relationships, we work closely with high quality DMCs like incoming agencies, hotels, and local partners to deliver the best possible experiences. And I believe the same approach applies across our wider network, because through our regional offices, local offices, we have offices like every destinations we fly. We work with teams who can truly understand the local dynamics, and we collaborate with the right partners in each market to design the best experience there as well. And our goal is to extend this high quality curated content, this approach beyond Turkey and across all of our destinations. And the idea is to offer the same level of quality everywhere, while still respecting the unique character and the spirit of each destination. So for us, creation is not about offering everything everywhere. It's about offering the right experiences with the right partners in every destination we serve.
It's just wonderful. Final question. When you reflect back on your journey with Turkish Airlines Holidays and Turkish Airlines, what impact or legacy do you hope this chapter leaves on how people experience travel?
Wow. BJ, like having spent nearly 15 years in aviation. I would say I've been involved in shaping people's travel experiences for a long time. But today, as I mentioned earlier, my focus is very much on people's holidays. That has naturally shifted my perspective towards experience and expectations and overall satisfaction. One of our greatest strength is the fact that Turkish Airlines Holidays is backed by a global brand like Turkish Airlines, and there is an enormous amount of experience, know-how, and collective intelligence behind these brands. And personally, my biggest ambition is to position Turkish Airlines Holidays in a very short period of time as one of the go-to addresses in key global markets for quality, trust. Trust is very important, and truly distinctive holiday experiences. We want people to visit the Turkish Airlines Holidays website with curiosity, as we said, thinking like, I wonder what they have here that's designed just for me. And I truly believe that in a very short time, Turkish Airlines Holidays will become a destination of choice for people's holidays, a place they return to with confidence and excitement.
Ensar, thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. And in fact, I'm going to close there. I'm just going to say, speaking with you, with Ensar Karabulut today, it's clear that behind every travel package is something deeper than price or place. It's intent. Through his work at Turkish Airlines Holidays, Ensar reminds us that travel isn't just a transaction. It's a story in the making of a carefully crafted blend of comfort, discovery, curiosity, and meaning. And until next time, keep exploring, keep traveling, and always, always widen your world. Safe travels, my friends.